and welcome again to That Other Monday show. I'm your host, Corin Zoid. The human body consists mainly of a sack of skin and some other shit, in most cases a brain, and the rest is all water. Now, wherever water abounds on the planet, so do human beings. It is space exploration's fundamental indicator for the possibility of life on other planets. It also stops failed expats from walking back to South Africa from Australia. Alongside second-hand car sales, a good old dose of H2O gives Boksburg the little economic boost it so desperately needs. What a cock, Joel. Now, sure, the chicks seem hot-ish, but then again, of course, they hang out with guys like this. You know, my boy. Water, or as we call it here on That Other Monday show, water, the poor man's beer. So, the worst drought, which it isn't, since 1982 was proclaimed, and the churches naturally saw this as a marketing opportunity to get peeps back into their buildings to pray for rain, you know, and to put a little bit of extra money into the collection plates. But seeing as the NG Kerk recently allowed the gays into the church, pissing off all the elders, hail was sent to Gauteng instead. Bucket loads of it. Ask, and ye shall receive. Thank you, God, Allah, and the flying spaghetti monster. There was carnage on the roads and damage to property. Some cars got so badly damaged by the hail that they resembled the thighs of your average Germiston stripper. Of course, short-term insurance companies saw this as a golden opportunity and were very quick to send out courtesy emails asking them if they were affected by the latest weather fuck-up. This is nothing short of soliciting claim from customers. And what happens when you claim? Well, most likely your premiums go up and you can kiss whatever bonus you would have gotten in the long run goodbye. With the monsoon-like cloudbursts of just last week, you'd be forgiven for thinking the problem is a non-issue, like Steve Hofmeyer's latest album, or Nomvula Mokonyama not actually being in Parliament to hear the outrage about the drought and water crisis. But that's where you'd be wrong. On the 14th of October, the Auditor General gave the Department of Water Affairs and Sanitation, or DWS, a qualified audit note. When it comes to audits, qualified means failure, like when Bafana Bafana qualified for the 2010 World Cup, because we were the kids in the neighborhood with an awesome house where the expensive birthday party was being held. The results also read like Bafana Bafana's success ratio. Both DWS and the water trading entity scored only 33% of usefulness and reliability on the information provided. That's matric pass rate style. The water trading entity achieved 27% of targets. That's Malema style. Now, DWS had over 100 million rand irregular spending. That's Gangnam style. Whoop, 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 Gangnam style. They actually underspent their budget by around 2 billion rand. How does the government not find ways to spend money? And can we get a tax rebate? Wait a minute, we've got an idea. Hashtag fees must fall. In one of the country's worst incidents of death by PowerPoint, a briefing was held by the DWS to discuss the drought status of the country. Now, while the DA members in attendance were unhappy with the presentation, saying that it lacked substance, a quick Google search by the hashtag and #move Tom's research team, that's us, showed that what it lacked in substance, it more than made up for in Wikipedia copy and pastes. More details came out in the discussion. According to Ms. Deborah Mochotli, Deputy Director General for Water Planning, her boss obviously couldn't make the meeting. Of the 6 provinces that are under observation by the department, 4 have been declared drought-stricken areas, and 2 continue to be monitored. The water restrictions currently being applied in Gauteng are in response to the unusually high temperatures, but not a consequence of drought. DWS was currently looking to increase the proportion of the water supply from groundwater, reuse, desalination, rainwater, and fog harvesting. How the fuck do you harvest fog? Do you ask everyone to drive down the N1 with their fog lights lit and catch the fog in a checkers bag? Or like this guy in the desert, where you probably have to wait, 50 years for half a litre.
There's water on the parachute material leading down, so it's cool.
This makes fuck all sense. Miss Machotley also described the DWS's drought mitigation measures. In the short term, it would make use of tankering to supply distressed areas, and it would drill 70 boreholes. In the medium term, it would look at desalination in coastal areas and eradicating illegal use. In the long term, it would increase the capacity of the water supply infrastructure by, for example, raising dam walls. She hoped that the drought would raise the public consciousness about water usage and lead to more efficient water use. Work had also begun to bring a number of areas' water supply back online. Progress and substance in a parliamentary meeting. Yes! In fitting form, though, the joke actually writes itself. At this point, the meeting was interrupted by striking parliamentary staff. The chairperson adjourned the meeting.
As you can see again, another stun grenade going off, workers remaining defiant.
Chairperson Johnson, in his last remarks at the briefing before getting the rest of the day off to play golf, noted that the irrigation boards were an untransformed remnant of the apartheid era. Still today, there appeared to be two economies of water supply. While the rest of the country was bone fucking dry, golf courses remain verdant and green. And now, a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Gareth Wilson. You're watching That Other Monday show. This week's episode is brought to you by our bar, the Good Luck Bar. We only sent them a logo because we were like too fucked up to send in the rest of the stuff because we're having too much of a good time at our bar, the Good Luck Bar. Here's a phone number where you can reach us. We're situated in 1 Fox Street, for fuck's sakes. For fuck's sakes. It's lekker. It's in newly gentrified Bromfontein. It's good food. Skinny jeans craft beer, you know. But, yeah, pull in and we'll have a drink. Fucking Gareth Wilson. The fuck is my water? When the government is in trouble, what are the easiest ways to shift attention? Blame apartheid or start a war. The war on leaks was launched by President Jacob Zuma on the 28th of August 2015 during an event held in Port Elizabeth.
We would launch government's war on leaks to curb water.
The program is designed to train young people to curb water losses that are costing the country 7 billion rand a year. Up to 15,000 learners could benefit from being trained in the next 3 years for a very messy war. The fact is that South Africans need to conserve water, and we need to be told what to do like little children. Back in the 80s, during the droughts, there were water-wise campaigns that were very effective. People listened and acted. But back then, the issue was a weather issue, not an ailing infrastructure and an inept water department combined with a fucked up weather issue. El Nino, or the little guy, turns out to be pretty fucking big. And now, we cross over to international weather correspondent Derek Van Dam.
Ek is Derek by die dam, fokkelwater in die dam, dam.
So everything's just fucked. It's not even the right. Okay. Let's have a look at Eskom. We tend to switch off and save when we are being load shed by force. Now be honest with yourself. Do you still conserve electricity now that you have it 98% of the time? Or do you need to be whipped with some load shedding again? There are already plans to exempt water pump station areas from load shedding. Yes, load shedding is making a comeback. We've missed you.
Yo, Adrian!
There is a very real threat of water shedding. Starting today, bulk water supplier Umgeni Water will implement a 50% restriction in major parts of KZN. That means going without water for between 6 and 8 hours per day. But hey, why should us people from Gauteng care about KZ? Oh, fuck. That's where we want to have our December holidays. Cuck timing, bro. At least Eskom only took you away from Grey's Anatomy for 2 to 3 hours per day, or the equivalent working hours of any licensing department employee. And you can't put a fucking solar panel on your roof to collect water. So, how does one save water? Come on, we all know the usual answers. Don't wash your car, shower together, pee in the shower, forget about shaving, don't fill up your swimming pool, or petition online to having a fun event like Slide the City cancelled. Are you kidding me? That looks like a shitload of fun. Why? Why would you have an event like that cancelled? Is it because you never learned how to read? If you bothered to dig a little deeper, you would have found that they use only around 75,000 liters of water, and by use, that's worst case scenario, and by use we mean only borrowed. You see, they would have recirculated it. The water that would have been borrowed for the event gets pumped back into a tanker and gets recycled back into the system. Or they could just write police on the side of the truck and then, drive off and water cannon some protesters. Oh, and here's another fun fact, by the way. 2.1 million water sachets were used at this year's Comrades Marathon. You go do the math, and then you go petition online. All our piped water is essentially drinking quality. And so that is what we are wasting. And with piped water, we mean water that somehow makes it to us despite the 7 billion rand lost in the war on leaks. Our best way to sum all of this up comes surprisingly in a quote from Ms. Kawula of the EFF. The better life promised to the people must be delivered. Cheers.
Yes, yes.